Interesting you mentioned the case of Dr. Afia Siddiqui, 7th anniversary coming up. It's become a rallying point for millions of Muslims all around the world.
That's right, she's become quite an iconic symbol. But someone who knows the case very well is Imran Khan, the political leader of Tehreek-e-Insaf. And this is what he had to say to me recently. Imran, can you tell me about this demonisation campaign in the media about Afia Siddiqui following the trial?
I read some report in the New York Times that the uncle is supposed to have said that Afia was headed to Afghanistan with her 3 children. Well, I was contacted by the uncle in 2003. He came to my house and he told me that his niece with her 3 children had disappeared. Now this is exactly what the uncle told me, and that's how I got involved. That's how I ended up speaking to her mother, who then told me that she couldn't do a press conference with me because the agencies were threatening that if she went to the media, they would not see her daughter alive again. So, I mean, this is first-hand. I mean, I spoke to her mother, and the uncle came to my house, telling me that his niece had disappeared.
And this was about 24 hours, 36 hours after she had disappeared from Karachi.
That's right. I don't know exactly how many hours, but he came to me and said that the niece had disappeared. She had made one phone call. Either she was boarding a plane to Islamabad or she was going to be in the train. I don't know. I forget. But he said she made one phone call, and that's the last we heard of her.
There seems to be a pattern developing here. Whenever loved ones go missing, they are too afraid to go to the media, too afraid to turn to politicians like yourself, who will make a lot of noise about somebody who's been disappeared. With the benefit of hindsight, do you think if the family had gone to you and allowed you to go ahead with that very first press conference, that Afia would have been returned?
Well, I certainly think she should have. I mean, but you can understand the mother being told by the agencies that if she went to the media, the daughter would not be alive. And this is with the 3 little children. The youngest at that time was 6 months old. So I can understand her fear. But in another case, just before Afia's case, there was a doctor called Dr. Amir from Lahore. He disappeared. And because he had worked voluntarily in our cancer hospital in Pakistan, the mother called me up. I did a press conference, and there was a big commotion. And a month later, the doctor was returned to the family. I do think that Afia's mother, with hindsight, should have gone to the media and probably would have saved the ordeal she went through.
What advice would you give to other families? Because we understand that people are still going missing in Pakistan.
Well, they have to go to the Supreme Court. That's number one. And secondly, they must go to the media. Because, this is now a big issue in Pakistan. All these people have disappeared. And the government, a complete stooge of the American government, totally controlled by the US, the current Pakistani government, as was the Musharraf government before. And there's no expectation from the government that it's going to do anything unless there is public pressure or unless the Supreme Court moves.
But what about the fear and intimidation suffered by the family when they're told by the agencies, keep quiet or you'll never see your loved one again?
Well, that's a trap. Because the moment they keep quiet, basically they can do whatever they want with the disappeared people, and that's been the history so far. No one who is kept quiet has achieved anything. The only time there's been a public commotion has there been any movement on the part of the government or the agencies.
Tehreek-e-Insaf seems to be the only political party at the moment in Pakistan taking the plight of the disappeared and Afia Siddiqui seriously.
Well, there's a perception amongst the main political parties in Pakistan that the way to get to the corridors of power in Islamabad is via Washington. So unless Washington is happy, you cannot get power. So basically they keep quiet. they don't say much. And they watch this abuse of human rights, total violation of natural justice. People disappear without having the chance of going to a court of law to prove their innocence.